Podcast. It's time for the Pretty Neat Podcast.
How you doing?
Better than our friend Alexander Volkanovsky.
Yes, distinctly better.
Yes.
He doesn't wear the dome as well as you.
You don't think so?
Maybe. I don't know.
think he does.
It's fun that we've been watching him long enough to transition. Like he had hair when he first joined the UFC and then just cut it out of his repertoire.
It's true.
You do. You wear it well.
It's part of me now, and that's good.
Mhm. Yes, I remember when you had the Volkanovski short hair.
You do. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I didn't wear that as well as this. The bald, it's a thing for me now.
Yeah, it's like Michael Jordan. Like I couldn't picture Michael Jordan with
Well-
hair outside of his college days.
He's a little on the, what is it, the Q score, like how famous somebody is. He's like a little bit higher on that than me.
Just a tiny bit.
He not a lot, but some.
He doesn't have the Pretty Neat podcast following
He does
that we do.
No. No, he doesn't. It's true.
He has his own level. But
Yes.
regardless, I would look like a fucking turtle if I shaved my head.
I think you should do it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Like full on just down and then cream and straight razor and everything?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I'm down to about 4 minutes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Maybe even 3.
That's really impressive.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Did you have to do that thing in school where you like shaved a balloon so that it
No.
wouldn't? No, I think I remember that from elementary school. It doesn't matter.
And what was the point of that lesson?
Just to like teach kids to be gentle,
Oh, okay.
give them a straight razor and cover
It
a.
makes me, as someone who, I spend a lot of hours in that environment, that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
It
I
is.
I agree. I'm bringing up Fight Center. I am bringing up UFC. Bring up both. I like Fight Center now quite a bit on ESPN.
I do too.
Come on the podcast. They always have odds. They have great data.
Yep.
They show recent fights, not just recent UFC fights. So I don't have to jump over to like SureDog or something shit like that.
Remember Bodog Fight or whatever?
Yeah, was it
What was that?
Bo
What was Bodog?
I don't think it was Bodog. Bo 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 something.
Bodog.
Is it Bodog?
It
Is
was.
really?
And I feel like I remember a Bodog fight. Like a commercial.
Yes. Wow, the UFC 298 photo of Alexander Volkanovski features him with hair.
Okay.
There he is,
Here I am.
the Ryan himself.
It is I, the Ryan.
Purveyor.
You two are one and the same.
Purveyor of the Delzite delight.
Yes, I bring the Delzite and I leave with it in tow. For I am the Delzite, the Ryan.
Oh wow.
I love every ounce of this. Every ounce. Cool. Awesome. I think I got everything brought up now. So I was I complimented Dom's dome, that he wears it equally as well, if not better, than Alexander Volkanovski.
Yeah, that's a fair statement. I think the dome is generally speaking on point. Every time I see him. So
Me
right?
or Alexander Volkanovski?
You, of course.
Okay. All right.
You, of course.
I appreciate it. I do. I
I
appreciate it.
don't have a personal relationship with Alexander Volkanovski, whereas with you,
Oh yeah.
it's personal.
Oh yeah, it is. Oh yeah. That excites me.
But as you can see, the UFC's website still features
Well,
a haired.
he looks terrible there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does.
So let's show him bald because he
Right.
looks better.
Yeah,
Do we want
he's lying to himself in that picture.
Honesty is important, kids.
It is.
Always.
What were you about to say?
It's not important. I have thoughts on him today. I'm gonna try to liken him to a very, very famous. I kind of gave you guys a hint yesterday, and then nobody took the bait. A very famous combat sports athlete who took a lot of shit from a lot of people for a handful of reasons. Ironically enough, not this is like the back of the book for this episode, right? Not didn't really take the shit that he deserved to take. Took shit for other things, which is like fight sports in a nutshell. And I
Yes.
think I can prove that this person did it the right way.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Are we going to get to it later in the episode, or are you bringing it up now?
Depends on how soon you want to talk about Alex Volkanovski.
Okay. Well, I guess we have to do the appropriate thing then, which is welcome everyone to the Pretty Neat podcast where we talk about UFC and other pretty neat stuff. I'm one of your three hosts. My name is Aaron. Nice to see you.
I'm the Ryan, and it is your pleasure to be listening to my voice this evening and or other time that you are listening to it.
I'm
welcome.
always into it. I'm not Carlos Vera, but he owes us dinner, and we're gonna talk about it. My name's Dom. He won't be joining us today.
Awesome. Well, welcome everyone. Go follow, subscribe, like, do all of that good stuff. It's fun for us to see that you enjoy the content, and I am so thankful for the 420 plus Spotify followers out there that we've got, and
I
as
love
well,
this new thing you're doing with that. I love
yeah, as well as the 8 subscribers that found us on YouTube as well.
it. Hey. Not totally sure how that happened, but thank you.
Yeah, it's what happens when you do an audio podcast for forever and then pop up on YouTube. So yeah, join the fellowship. We like to have you. And you know what they can do if they go to prettyneatpodcast.com?
They
What?
can hit that bag.
Yeah, they can hit the fucking mailbag and
Get the
right.
mailbag, and one of us will send you a liquid death.
Nice.
Yeah, that's probably
I'll
true.
do it. I'll do it.
He means it. He means it. With that being said,
You get the
there
watermelon one though.
It's
The worst
gonna be-
liquid death.
Oh fuck, that's amazing. UFC 298 happened last week at the Honda Center in Anaheim. We missed on picks. Am I right? We missed 3 out of 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're regressing as
Having
far
a rough-
as
a rough
pick
start to the year.
prognosticating goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our worst so far, right? Is a halfer.
I believe
Uh,
we've gone 2 of 6 once.
I was just gonna say, didn't we go 2 out of 6?
Maybe we did.
Now I
But-
will say we kind of got jobbed on this one on Amanda Lemos, but
Mhm.
also we talked about it on Saturday night. We badly made a very bad decision in the Rene Nakamura fight. We should have done more research on
His
Carlos
opponent,
Vera
yeah,
and
yeah.
who he, because if that had been Ryan Hall that Rinya was fighting, we would have never picked him to stop it that early. He's still gonna win for sure.
Yeah.
But that type of I'm gonna get on the ground and just beg you to come down here with me is not,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah. Went all the way to decision. We picked under 7.5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, you learn. Now we know. Then like you said, Amanda Lemos, Mackenzie Dern, which by the way got fight of the night and not Whitaker versus Costa.
We
What
got
the
jobbed
fuck?
on that. And this is why I hate the significant strikes pick, because
Mm-hmm.
for like an hour we had it. And
Yeah,
then
we had 45.
they drop it by 4 for some reason. Like, why? Why are you doing that?
They got to make their money.
But here's the thing, there are people who take the under.
Yeah.
So we can joke about it, but there are people who take the under. They know what percentage took the under, I guess, but
Sure, yeah, I guess that's true. I was I did not understand how Mackenzie Dern raised her hands at the end when they announced Amanda Lemos. Like she raised her hand like she won. I don't know if you saw that after the fight.
I
I
didn't.
did, yeah.
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
I that was so clearly not a Mackenzie Dern win. I
Let
don't
me
know
let
what
me
her
ask you a
coaches were
question.
saying. So
When is the guy who thinks he, or girl who thinks they won, when is that not funny? I'm talking Lightning McQueen, apparently Mackenzie Dern. Like, when is it not funny? It's always funny.
It's always funny. And it's always like, you always go back, at least for me, I should speak for myself. I go back to what Aaron was saying. Is that person's corner telling them that they're winning rounds, as opposed to saying, hey, you lost that one, I need you to get the next one. And oh, by the way, that's probably happening because I'm fairly confident that Mackenzie Dern's striking coach is also her current significant other right now.
ooh, that's
So
problematic.
could be a little of that. Now, the opposite is also true, because the significant other of Andrea KGB Lee is her chief corner, and he basically berates her every time they go in between rounds. So there's different styles, so it's not always consistently true. However, I wonder, right, what's the feedback that she's getting in between rounds?
Yeah. And that was too early in the night for them to keep the cameras on during the in-betweens. So we didn't really get to see much of it. I mean, with Paulo Costa, because he did the same thing. Like when they announced the judges' scorecards, which it was a split decision, was that right? Unanimous? No.
Two 30-27s and one 29-28. So one judge
other way
gave
around, 2 29-28s and a 30-27.
Okay,
Yep.
My bad.
Yeah.
So I think 2 out of 3 judges gave Paulo round 1 where he hit that spinning wheel kick.
Mm-hmm. And one didn't. But it felt.
So that's I'm sorry, that's majority, not unanimous, right?
No, they all gave Robert Whitaker rounds 2 and 3.
So they just go by who they thought won. Okay.
Yeah.
Then what's
yeah.
a majority decision? Is that's 2 out of 3 judges?
Yes.
Then what's a split?
Majority is 2 out of 3. Is it 2 out of 3 judges? I guess we have to look this up now. Split decision versus majority decision. There we go. A split decision occurs when 2 judges pick the same fighter as the winner, while the third judge decides the opposite fighter won. On very rare occasions, 2 judges vote for a draw, and the third chooses the winner. That is a majority draw. So that doesn't really answer it.
So it says split
It's
and
the
majority
same.
decisions are the same thing.
Yeah, there it is.
So you have a split decision or a majority decision. They're interchangeable, and then you have a majority draw.
There you go.
Okay. That's fair.
Okay. Yeah. What was interesting though is that when one judge, the judge who gave it 30-27, when Paulo Costa heard that, he like shook his head. Yeah, that means I won. Because I think he made an assumption that he definitely won the first round. But a lot of, I mean, if you look at the numbers on round one, Whitaker kicked his ass until that wheel kick. Kicked his ass.
Yes.
He was
Mhm.
winning the round. And it's
He
kind of
was
just
winning.
that, do you give the person the round who finished the strongest or performed the best throughout the majority of the round?
It depends on the rule set, because if these were
Yeah.
pride rules, you would give it to Paulo every time because he finished the round better.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, but that's not how it works in every other sport.
I know.
Mhm. Whoever
I'm just
scores
saying
the
within the
last
rule set.
basket
no,
in
I know.
basketball is the
I'm
winner
just-
of the game,
I'm
right?
just saying for me, I think whoever won the majority of the time in that, I mean, it's difficult for sure, but
hmm Well, let's look at a couple of these other fights.
yeah.
I mean, Danny Barlow
Did-
looked awesome.
Did you guys know Josh Quinlan? Speaking of that fight, he's like a chemical engineer or something.
No shit.
Yeah. So my
Yeah,
thing
he's got his
is,
own degree.
why are you in a UFC cage? I don't get it.
He and Miranda Maverick should get together and come on the pod and tell us.
I would love to ask them, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Miranda, congrats on your win as well. Come on the podcast. Tell us about your decision making in terms of line of career. We would like to know. Speaking of that fight, Miranda, man, she's good. I like it. So is Andrea Lee. They're both not terrible. Just going to say it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oban Elliott and Val Woodburn are both not very good fighters.
Got the over though.
We
We
did.
got the over.
We scored on that one.
We missed
Ja-
on that Zhang Min Yang.
Did we? What did we
Yeah,
pick on
'cause
that?
We talked about taking the under, and then for some reason didn't. And Zhang
We took
was,
didn't we take strikes?
he was no, we didn't pick that one.
We didn't pick that one.
He was he was there for a good time, not a long time, wasn't he? Because good lord.
I like
I had
him.
a separate prop where I took the
Okay.
over, and he was 3 under, 17 strikes, and a very quick first round TK or
Mhm.
KO.
Yes, very quick. We talked about Rinya Nakamura and Carlos Vera. I'm still excited to watch Rinya. I think he's a fun spice to be thrown
No,
into
yeah,
Bantam.
yeah. That thing going 15 minutes is not a knock on him. One of those real jujitsu ground guys that can be very tough to adjust to. And Rinya had 13 minutes of control time and was 3 of 3 on his takedowns. So he beat him at his own game, which I like.
Yeah, always fun to see. And that's kind of when you know that somebody's like a really good prospect. I like the beat people at their own game fighters. I mean, they're like forever students. That's what I like about them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give one of these to Junior Tafa's leg.
Yeah.
And-
We haven't
Rogerio
had
de
a
Lima almost
Phoenix
kicked
song
it
in a
off.
while.
Yeah, we haven't heard the Phoenix song in a while. But yeah, fucking terrible. And I mean, how awful was it too?
Okay,
The irony that Justin Tafa fell out because of his leg injury.
I walked out of the
terrible.
room. Did he break his leg or something?
No,
No,
just
it was almost like a TKO due to leg kicks.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
hit him and he just fell down and didn't get up.
Okay.
and he had that grimace of I'm done. Like
Okay.
this is my leg is going to fall
I
off.
don't want to do this anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell of a performance by Marcos Rogerio de Lima though with the leg kicks.
Was it?
He throws them like that. You have to attack him. You have to get in close and take him down. Like that's how you beat him.
Yeah, the leg kicks were impressive, but I think we would all agree expected for him to win for
Mhm.
somebody stepping in on 24 hours notice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. You have to do what Derek Lewis did. Just run up to him as fast as you can and just start pummeling him. Don't give him any time to strategize or create distance. Don't respect Marcos Rogerio de Lima's distance. That's how you beat him. Do you want to talk about Amanda Lemos or Mackenzie Dern anymore?
I would just say that my like final comment. I thought it was so close to being stopped in round 1 where she like it looked like she broke Mackenzie's Dern orbital
Yeah.
with that left, and then it was a totally different fight after that. It was wild.
I look for her eye and it just brings up good pictures. Ridiculous.
I mean, for the most part, she's really pretty.
Yeah.
Every now and then you get an angle of her face that's not awesome, but the rest of what she's working with pretty much is, with all due respect. And then you get some angles where her face looks really nice. I can't help but think that that is part of the reason she's still
highly ranked and
yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you're wrong. I think you said it last week. They want her to win. They do. They want her to win.
Mm-hmm.
They can't.
She's
She
just
needs-
not gonna. You know?
They got to put her up against noobs that are like fresh. You know?
Here, I'll say this, and I don't mean to she's a black belt, right?
Yeah.
Mackenzie. She's a decorated jiu-jitsu player. I'm in no way, shape, or form taking away from that. But here's what I'm gonna say. Michael Chandler went on Monday Night Raw. Did you guys see that?
I read about it after
I heard
the fact,
about it.
yeah.
Well, I'm not asking if you watch Monday Night Raw. I'm just saying he was on Monday Night Raw. It was at the Pond, just like 298 was. So he was just still there, I guess. And he goes up on the ring and calls out Conor McGregor and all this shit. It's like, if we're gonna do that in what is supposed to be a real test of martial arts, let's just do like a lingerie fight where Mackenzie and PVZ just pound on each other, sponsored by Victoria's Secret. Ryan's like, fuck yeah. Like, all I'm saying is, like, just if you're gonna go, don't dip your toes in to the spectacle. Just hop in, you know.
Dive in. Let's
That's some
dive
shit
in first.
WWE has done before. So just plunge in head first. Here's the thing. If they said, hey, Mackenzie and PVZ are doing a lingerie match, where I'm talking, it's pay-per-view, it's like G-strings and triangles up top, right? It's in the top 15 most watched UFC fights of all time. You know what I mean? It's knocking on the door of the top 10.
Sure. It's definitely getting up there. I would agree. And they could like do a Victoria's Secret Under Armour
Collaboration or something.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah. Why not? Do some camo panties. I don't know. What would that be? Aren't like mud, isn't that like just mud wrestling?
Sure, whatever.
We're just amped for this to happen.
Do it on ice or some shit. I'm not saying I'm just saying, if you're gonna do it,
Do it.
just dive in, you know?
Yeah.
See what happens.
Ah, beautiful. Well, I would love
It
to
would be. It would be beautiful. You're right.
I agree. Yes. I don't have a good segue, so I'm just gonna go Anthony
Two
Hernandez.
guys I don't want to see do that: Anthony Hernandez and Roman Coppola.
Yes, yeah, there you go. There's the segue. Wow. Anthony Hernandez is really good.
He's a good fighter.
He
He
is.
is fluffy.
He is.
It is unbelievable.
Roman made a
that-
mistake. Roman made a mistake when he tried to get up and he wasn't defensively sound, and Fluffy made him pay for it. Like,
Yeah.
just relentless. So
The first
Kudos.
RNC rear naked choke that he had in, it's unbelievable that Kopylov didn't go out from that.
Mhm,
It's unbelievable.
mhm.
And then, you're just exhausted at that point. So then Hernandez got it. And I
Yep.
still thought the tap was a little bit late.
Yeah, it was. I'm stoked on it because I've been saving my Anthony Hernandez cards and put them on eBay, and they're all selling for more than they probably would have a couple months ago.
So what does
So
this do
Awesome.
for him on that note in middleweight? He's 13 now, above the Action Man and Kyle Barrio, behind Paul Craig, Hamzat, Dolidze, Hermanson, Imavov, Paulo, Brendan Allen, Marvin Vittori, Jared Cannonier, Robert Whitaker, Israel Adesanya, and Sean Strickland, and DDP, not to mention the real number one, Bo Nickel. So
that
I
sounds
don't know.
like
It's just a tough time to be at 185.
that sounds like a situation where
Whoa.
Climb the ladder.
So, I mean, you brought it up. Anthony Hernandez is now 13th in the middleweight rankings. Why don't we climb the ladder with this fool? How would he do against Paul Craig, the Bear Jew?
He dispatches of the Bear Jew.
Yep, I think he knocks
Okay.
him out or he subs him.
Okay.
I think he could go either way. I think he could probably beat Cosmo too.
Oh, I don't think that's terrible to say. I think Kamzat would not take the fight because he's lower ranked.
Yeah, we're climbing the
that's it.
ladder. We're talking
Yeah.
about could he beat him? He could.
He could.
Who was
actually
Anthony
could.
Hernandez's best win prior to Kopylov?
Rodolfo Vieira, probably. Yep.
Who won the week prior via
Yep.
sub.
And Anthony Hernandez subbed him. It's like he's subbing people who sub people, and Kamzat subs people.
He lost to Kevin Holland. Would probably be his. Hell, he beat Shabazian.
Yeah, he
And is that
that didn't age
Barrio?
well.
Yeah.
That didn't age well.
No, it didn't. But at May of last year.
Kamzat and Fluffy would be a good war.
They wouldn't
I'm
make
not
the
just
fight,
easily
honestly.
picking Kamzat. I'm not just picking Kamzat there.
Mm.
Or sorry, Hernandez. I'm not just gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna say it's.
There we go. I think he submits Roman Dolidze.
Yeah, Roman, after that last fight with who was that?
Nasruddin Imavov.
Kind of it got exposed a little bit.
Yes. Yes, he did. Jack Hermanson is now a wild card.
Right, where he's the Joker.
Yeah. I would see Anthony Hernandez beating Jack Hermanson by decision. That's all I can really say. I don't think they finish each other.
It's interesting. I don't know. Jack Hermanson's very savvy, as we have seen. So I really don't know how that would go.
Yeah. Nasruddin? Actually, I would like to see that matchup. No, he just won. He shouldn't be fighting down.
What's weird is outside of Hamzat, I could see Anthony Hernandez beating a lot of the guys ranked higher than Hamzat.
Yeah. I think him versus Paulo Costa is a good fight.
Oh, I think he beats Paulo Costa.
I like that.
He beats him, yeah, but that's a good fight for him. Paulo coming off a loss.
Yeah, for sure.
Anthony Hernandez jumping up.
Oh, yeah.
I think Brendan Allen's the dark horse in the middleweight division right now, outside of the names we've talked about.
Yeah. Does he have a fight coming up? That's what I'm checking right now.
I think he does.
I do. I want to say he does too, but UFC.com is being slow as fuck. I think he would beat Marvin Vittori. I think he would beat Jared Cannonier. Robert Whitaker.
No.
Well, this doesn't want to load, so we're not going to take.
I don't know. It's not. None of it's crazy.
No, it's not. He would struggle with Izzy for sure. Izzy's striking is better than anyone he has faced.
Yeah. Israel Adesanya would be a heavy favorite, rightfully so, in that fight.
Brendan Allen is fighting Marvin Vittori April 6th.
There we go.
That's a fun one. Is that
Yes,
headlining
it
a
is.
fight night or something? Or is that
I believe so.
300?
No,
I don't
300 is the
think so.
That's a
13th.
fight night. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be an exciting one. And
Yeah.
then what about Sean Strickland?
No.
Does
Anthony?
Anthony Hernandez beat Sean Strickland? He could
No.
take him down.
I don't think he beat Sean Strickland. Did you guys see Sean Strickland fight that streamer?
Yes.
No, I heard about it though.
It was okay. I talk about this sort of thing a lot. I don't like the idea, and in a weird way, it's the Sabrina Ionescu is how you say her last name, Steph Curry thing from Saturday night. Did either of you watch that? And by
No.
either of you, I mean Ryan. No. So Sabrina went out. She shot the women's ball from the men's distance, and she had like 26 points, which she would have moved on to the second round of the men's 3-point competition. And then Steph did kind of what I think we talked about him probably doing. And if we didn't talk about it here, I talked about it with my brother. He kind of like he pretty clearly turned it on the last 2.5 racks of balls and then ended up with like 29. Sean Strickland stood in the cage for the first 3 minutes, and he told, his name is Sneeko. He said, Sneeko, I'm just going to let you paw at me literally for 3 minutes. And then at 2 minutes, you're going to realize you've made a really big mistake. And then Sean beats the shit out of him until somebody runs in and pulls them apart.
Well, there you go.
How do we get on this topic? Sean Strickland's really good. Sean Strickland's really good. Anthony Hernandez is obviously not a streamer. He's a pro fighter, but this is a guy who walked down Israel Adesanya for a legit 25 minutes and knocked him down.
Yep. Yeah, he's very fucking good.
Yeah.
Anthony Hernandez, I think, would have a great shot at Dricus du Plessis.
No.
Not like I think he would do worse against people like Khamzat.
Maybe.
But
he's not beating him.
I don't think he would beat Dricus right now. So, hey, there you go. Anthony Hernandez, thank you for climbing the ladder with us. Come on the podcast and defend yourself. And then we move into Merab Dvalishvili, delicious dish, as we pointed out here, taking on Triple C, Henry Cejudo, which supposedly Henry Cejudo did say before the fight that if he lost, he was going to officially retire. And then they did not give him the microphone after the loss. So they didn't even
did you hear what Dana said?
No, what did he say?
He said he already retired once.
Oh, okay. Fair. Accurate.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Do you want to see Henry Cejudo fight again?
I didn't want to see him fight either of the times he's fought since he came back.
There you go. I'm in the same exact boat. What do you think about Merab now in terms of challenging for the belt that Sean O'Malley is currently holding if he should defend?
So I want to hear your guys' opinions on that.
Allow me to go first, if I may.
Please.
There's a interesting scenario here with Sean O'Malley calling out Ilia Topuria because he thinks that's a harder fight for him and more prestigious. Yep. So let's say the UFC does that. They're like, hey, we love complicated situations. We love interim titles. Let's allow Sean to move up if he beats Cheeto, right? Upcoming. And Ilya, let's say he defends against who would he defend against? Max Holloway, maybe? Yair, maybe,
saying.
if he wins.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
And Volk takes some time off and he dispatches of them and Sean wins in pretty convincing fashion. I could see a Q3 this year where they fight, Sean moves up, and I'd be interested. Like, it's a lot to contend with. I would definitely favor Ilya in that fight because he has,
Why?
Yeah.
Well,
power. You hate Sean O'Malley, you can say it.
There's no, there's some unknowns that I know that Sean trains very hard on his ground game, but we've never seen it. So it's an unknown for me.
hang on though. We kind of did with Piotr Jan.
Did we?
We saw him avoid it and get up every time.
He
Okay.
avoided it with Aljo.
He literally, speaking of El Matador, he's like, "Hey, Aljo, here's the red curtain." Bam. You know.
Yep. Could happen.
Sean,
I
keep in
don't know-
mind
I don't know if-
significant height and reach advantage.
I like
I don't know if
Ilya's
Ilya-
combos better.
I don't know
What?
if Ilya comes in like
do.
Aljo or Piotr Jan
He
would.
certainly does not. That is true.
No.
So there's a
Size.
difference there. He's got more power, right? Ilya's going to have far more power. He knocked people out at
Ooh.
155.
When?
He did
Who?
in his
He's like
past.
his most devastating knockout was Jai Herbert at 155 when he like first came into the UFC and he just
Yeah,
took a
okay.
fight on short notice and came up.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah. They do have beef. They had that whole thing at the hotel a couple years ago. Ilya and him. They like went back and forth at some hotel. Like Ilya like threw some food at him or some shit.
So what is
It'd be a
it
good
that-
fight.
What is
It'd
it
be-
that
would be a good
you're
fight.
Oh, a good fight and a fun one for sure.
Yes.
Ryan, what is it you need to see from Sean O'Malley? Because you seem to not think he's as good as I do or other people do. I'm genuinely asking.
That's a great question.
For me, it's that he seems to constantly catch people and hit him with that one shot that puts him out. Whereas Ilya sets up that one shot with a 2 to 3, 4 punch combination
Except that
prior.
against Aljamain Sterling, his whole plan was to set up the shot he hit him with.
Yeah, by doing the red flag, you know, speaking of El Matador, like you said, which he
Mhm.
could do. He could do that again. I wouldn't know how to pick that fight. I'd want to see how Sean looks with 10 pounds more on him.
Mm.
I would pick Ilya to win. I think he would be I think he'd be like a minus 200 in that fight.
Yeah, Sean going up, that would make sense.
And I can see an interim bout with Marab and Corey Sandhagen,
Mhm.
right? And then the winner will challenge Sean after the fact. I think Sean is in a position with his frame, right? Where he could potentially, let's say he beats Ilya, he could
Yeah.
defend both, hypothetically.
Yeah.
I could see him defending both. He's got the frame to do so. And he's young, so like cutting weight
That'd be
is
cool.
actually in his favor
Yep.
during this time frame.
His body,
Um,
his frame, to your point, really does lend itself to weight cuts. I've heard him talk about it. I don't think that's as extreme for him as it is for other people.
No, I
Sure.
don't think so. He's really invested in like his own personal, like his nutrition system and how he
Mhm.
takes care of himself, rest and
Mhm.
recovery, etc. Like he's been very invested in that. So it's actually a strong suit for him. My unknowns are just around like what we haven't seen from him, like when he has been tested in that regard on the ground, so to speak. And you know, maybe there's some unconscious bias there. I don't know, but
No, and it's fair. We all have it. And I think the question that we have not seen anyone take him. He has not had to really truly go to war with anyone,
Mhm.
where it's 25 minutes of kind of back and forth. The weight class doesn't really lend itself to that, but
the Piotr
know,
Jan fight I
Piotr
thought
Jan would be the
was
closest
close.
one, but it was only 15.
That's
Mhm.
true. That's true.
The 2 extra rounds of that is
Tough.
yeah.
Tough.
Yeah. Yeah,
Now,
and
having said that, go ahead.
I was just gonna say his approach to the ground is get back up. I would like to see him attempt more submissions and show off that part of his game, reveal it, because Ilya has a submission game.
Yes.
So it's going to be hard for him with the size difference. At least as far as I can tell, because Sean O'Malley is so much bigger than Piotr Jan was in terms of frame. So it's a lot of unanswered questions, but I would love to see that. I think that would be super, super fun. And if he won, I would want Sean to defend both belts. I think it would be so cool to see somebody doing that. And I would love it if he did. I think that would be great for the brand. I think it would be fun for both divisions. I would just like that. I would like it. I think that would be exciting.
I agree.
Yeah, we'll talk more about Ilya's call out when we get there. Anything else on Marab and Cejudo?
Yes.
What's up?
I have heard the take that a lot of that guys like Sean O'Malley or Sandhagen are looking at Marab and thinking, "Oh shit, what are we gonna do?" I don't see it that way. He beat Henry Cejudo, but we're talking about a guy who shit.
Yeah.
It's not like it's 2019 Henry
No,
Cejudo.
he retired his prime away.
Henry Cejudo retired in 2020, came back in May of last year, and then almost a full year later gets back in there with fucking Marab.
Yeah,
If
that
Marab
retirement.
had gone out there and just starched him or sat him down and then submitted him or something, the
Mhm.
old club and sub,
Yeah.
then maybe we have a different discussion. But I feel like if you're in a sense struggling against Henry Cejudo, and I don't want to take anything away from Henry Cejudo, he's a world class combat sports athlete, but again, this is not 2019
No.
second DJ fight Henry Cejudo, and so
Yeah.
I'm just not as impressed with it. I'm
Sure.
really not.
Sure. And I mean, just to piggyback on your lack of being impressed, um, Sean O'Malley would knock him out. Like what
I
Sean
feel like
O'Malley,
he would, but a
yeah,
lot of people are not saying that.
I really feel like you would. I think we would see a repeat of Aljo, except it would happen in the first 2 minutes of the fight. But if it went past the middle of the second round, Sean O'Malley'd have to be very wary.
Certainly, the deeper it got, the more it would favor Marab, you would think.
And with Marab literally throwing Henry Cejudo, tripping Henry Cejudo, and carrying him across the octagon, and Henry Cejudo being an Olympic level wrestler, Sean O'Malley is not an Olympic level wrestler.
Yeah,
So
but
if
it's way harder to grab Sean O'Malley.
it exactly. So like if he managed to get in there somehow and avoid what happened to Aljo, Sean would have problems, but I think Sean is too accurate. I don't think he'd be able to get in there. I just don't.
Yeah,
And he'd
I
use
agree.
his kicks better. He'd use kicks to keep distance. It'd be fun, but I think Marab would have a lot of trouble. Then we can move right in and right past the most boring fight of the night, Jeff Neal and Ian Machado Gary. And I agree with a lot of pundits that Jeff Neal just didn't go for the win. He just didn't go for it.
I didn't hear that take. That's interesting.
Yeah. Ian Gary, I mean, definitely won round two and round three. Questionable round one, but he was missing so much. They both were. It was just it was just lackluster. Wasn't
How
it
does
one of
he do
the
against Shavkat?
I don't
So I
think
think I think Shavkat gets a hold of him. What Ian Gary does
Yeah.
so well with his size and his agility is he keeps distance and then picks you off from the outside.
Mhm.
I think Shavkat, what we have seen from him is he takes the first round to really kind of like, all right, I'm going to feel this out and pick up on some tendencies. And then he's like, all right, well, now I'm closing the distance.
He's boa constrictor.
Yeah, it gets to the ground. It's
he-
inevitable.
I was gonna say he's Thanos. He's inevitable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I
I am
love it.
inevitable.
Speaking of, I have something to tell you guys.
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Go
Do
for
it now
it.
or save it.
It's your show.
So I didn't tell you guys this. I really don't know why, but the wife and I took the kids to the Pixar Place Hotel, not last night, but 2 nights ago, which used to be the Paradise Pier Hotel.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's get one thing very, very straight. The hotels on property at the Disneyland Resort are way too fucking expensive.
Yes.
Like what are we even doing? Anyway, the night, because I'm off work this week and my 8-year-old's out of school. So we went on Sunday and drove up there and went to California Adventure for a little while. And it was one of those days where it's like it was so crowded that it was not fun. So we went and got some like a late lunch, and then we ended up staying in the same hotel. Definitely no free shout outs that Ryan and I booked for the half marathon. I'm not gonna say it's the best, but you know what? It does the job, right? Especially price wise comparatively. Then the next 2 days, of course, the fucking 2 days it actually rains in Southern California. Anyway, but the Pixar Place Hotel, they did a good job with the rescan. I'm not gonna lie, they did a really really good job. In the lobby at check-in, they have actual this when we talked about Thanos, this made me think of it. They have like clay models that they used for, I think it's Finding Dory, The Incredibles, and like two other ones.
Okay.
That Aaron right there, that's the main entryway where the Luxo is on the ball.
Uh-huh. That's cool.
The whole thing is done up. Oh, right there, that bottom one, right there. See the clay models?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a bunch of them. They're really cool. The artwork all over the place, most of it is not like you see behind the counter there, but actual concept art, which I really appreciate.
Huh.
The rooms were nice. It was cool. We had a good time.
Nice.
I dig it.
Wanted to do.
Well, yeah,
I got a. What's up?
You're the price wise. You're absolutely right. It's
we got a good
outlandish.
price on it, and I had some points to redeem, so we didn't pay too much. But in any case, got a good workout. They have a nice gym. Got a good workout in there, and then I wanted to go hop in the pool. I was hoping it'd be cold. It wasn't. They had the courtesy to heat it, so that's great. But yeah, entirely too expensive.
I've stayed at the Grand Californian twice, and the second time I was like, why are we doing this again?
It's
for what you pay, the added benefits, right, with the access to the park and just being able to go back to a room. I don't think it's worth it.
I don't think so either.
Let's see. Oh my God.
Yeah. And that's kind of on the lower end.
Yeah.
That's a premium view too, son. Premium.
We actually got a premium view room without paying for it.
My gosh.
But again, I know what California Adventure looks like, so I don't really need to sit at my window and look at it. In any case, if you get a chance for a reasonable price, and they have the guy from Soul, is it Joe? I still have not seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the pink elephant raccoon thing from Inside Out. Bang Bang?
Bing Bong.
No. Bing Bong. Thank you. Strolls around the lobby, and then Joe plays the piano. And those apparently are the only two places you see those characters, which I'm not the biggest character meet and greet guy. I also fucking hate when adults are all like crazy about it. But
you got an 8-year-old.
I do, and she does not enjoy a lot of the characters.
Oh, well, there you go. Anyway, we move on. Robert Whitaker,
and so does Shavkat.
Yeah, yes. Robert Whitaker, Paulo Costa. Good fight. Mm-hmm. Again, thought it deserved fight of the night more than Lemos Dern.
A good fight, but not a lot of. It doesn't mean a whole lot.
No,
not really.
Yeah, that's a good call. Also, Paulo Costa has to also be honest with himself that he is balding, and he should probably just take it off.
Fair. He also needs to fight more to maintain his relevance, because this once a year is not doing much for him in the rankings. And
Fluffy Hernandez, let's line it up. Come on, we're matchmaking now.
I like it. And then we move on to the main event, which is Alexander Volkanovski and Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria knocked out Alexander Volkanovski with a clean right.
Hold with a capital C.
Yes, sent him to the nether regions.
Mm-hmm.
And we all kind of said Alexander Volkanovski should retire. He probably should. Um, I
He's not
don't
going to.
I
He's
don't like
definitely
the
not going
immediate
to.
rematch.
Why?
Just because it's 2 knockouts in a row.
I think it will be Volk's next fight, but not Topuria's.
I agree.
I like that. I think you're probably right. I think you're absolutely right. Uh, anyway, I did not like Ilia Topuria's call out of Conor McGregor,
So stupid.
which was the dumbest thing.
Even I'm tired of the Connor stuff at this point.
Yeah, and I think it just shows perspective. Let's take a big zoom back. Conor McGregor has not fought at featherweight since he knocked out Jose Aldo 9 years ago. Okay, he's not gonna make 145 ever again.
Is
So
he even
He's
gonna
not
make
going to make
55?
155.
No.
Yeah, no.
no. So Ilya's got to be like talking about going to fucking welterweight for this or some other crazy catch weight. They did a 165 belt one day, then maybe those would be like top two for consideration to be the first championship fight, maybe.
I
But
mean,
you got to have Ilya move up. You got to beat Sean O'Malley and
there's
then
a
let him
lot
be
of
triple
moving
champ.
parts, right? Yeah, I don't
Yes,
know.
so many moving parts, but that was just fucking stupid. As I mentioned in our chat, I liked the sort of Spanish matador thing with all the roses afterwards. I thought
Sure.
that was a good piece of flair to bring into the octagon. Didn't really see that before. Liked it. I thought it was cool. And it makes me look forward to seeing a card in Spain. I think that'll be really fun.
Yeah, I agree.
It's gonna be a
Spain
good.
is a
I-
cool city if you guys haven't been. Got it.
Liked it. And I think that puts a good cap on our recap of UFC
So
298.
let me do this then.
Yeah.
I don't like when guys stay around too long. And the comparison I have for Alexander Volkanovski, and I'm stretching, is Floyd Mayweather. Okay. So Floyd took a lot of shit for not fighting certain fighters at certain times, right? Um, he fought Canelo, a very young Canelo. He fought an older Manny Pacquiao. But also he never really took any damage. Some people will say that, and you know what? The name always escapes me. Some deep boxing fans, will tell you that was it Marquez? Someone knocked down Floyd, although because his whole thing is it's not even that he's never lost. He never got knocked down. Um
Hmm.
Shit. Someone.
Hmm.
No, not Carlos Hernandez.
It says he was
Zab
dropped to the
Judah.
canvas in 2001 with a left hook thrown by Carlos Hernandez.
But that's
I
not
think you're talking about Mayorga.
Mayorga, maybe. Someone will say that his knee. Some deep cut boxing fans will say that he, Mayweather broke his hand. That's why that Hernandez one kind of doesn't count. Not Shane Mosley. It might have been Mayorga. It doesn't really matter. Some deep cut boxing fans will say that his knee hit the canvas at one point. I don't really care about that. The point is he made all the money. He was 50-0. He stayed with his defensive prowess, but still could hit guys. I talk a lot about this, and I still one time I wrote, and I should actually look for it. I don't know if it's as funny as I thought it was, but I wrote a whole like intro to a thesis paper on why Link from The Legend of Zelda has autism. Have I shared that with you guys?
I
he's
want to
obsessed-
read it.
He's obsessed with green. He doesn't talk. His whole life is kind of the same thing over and over again. Anyway, I love people with autism. It's written out of love, but I'm pretty sure I could defend it. That's not the point. This idea that sometimes in fight sports you see someone they have something taken from them. Not a belt, not a win or a loss, but like
Mhm.
part of you is gone now. And I think that when Volkanovski took that second fight against Makhachev and took that head kick, I think that took something. We saw this. I think that took something from him. We saw this with fucking Deontay Wilder. I think Tyson Fury took something from his soul. And then he went out and lost to Joseph Parker. And Joseph Parker is a really good fighter. But 3-4 years ago, Deontay Wilder is flatlining him inside of 4 rounds. So Volkanovski has that. And my whole thing with Floyd Mayweather is he never had anything taken from him. He never took a big shot. He was never even really wobbled. And he took shit not for hitting his wife or his girlfriend or whoever it was, but instead for dodging guys and being selective with his fights and flashing his money on TV, which is fucking hilarious. But the fact that he didn't take shit for the things he deserved it for, I mean. So all I'm saying with Volkanovski is I feel, and you know, Stipe, for example, I think that Francis took something from Stipe with that knockout. I am worried that this has now happened to Alexander Volkanovski, and we very rarely see guys come back from it. We saw Adesanya knock out Alex Pereira finally, right? But you rarely see someone reclimb that same mountain in combat sports. I think it's just too difficult. Volkanovski he's older now. And I think at these lower weight classes, you lose a half step or even a quarter of a step, and the next thing you know, they're waking you up and telling you what he hit you with to end the fight. And I just don't know. I don't know what his financial situation is. I don't know what his like long-term earning potential is. It just worries me that he gets back in there with him after these two just brutal. I mean, he was out cold.
Yep.
And then took at least 2 shots to the head that he didn't need to take by the time the ref got there. I don't know. What do you guys think?
So a couple things. One, it wasn't Mayorga, it was Zab Judah.
Okay.
Where he put a fist down on the canvas that the ref
Okay.
didn't catch.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't classified as a knockdown. And that was 5 years after the one official knockdown of Carlos Hernandez. Speaking of Floyd Mayweather. 2, Alexander Volkanovski's net worth as of 4 days ago was $3.5 million. So
Okay.
not a lot, but not a little.
No.
Right? For somebody who is considered to be the greatest featherweight fighter of all time in the UFC. And 3, I think what's happening to Volk right now with the successive knockouts is what ended up happening to Chuck Liddell.
Ooh.
And how's it going for him now, right?
Not great.
Yeah.
I
A
mean,
strong
Chuck
breeze
Liddell,
puts that man to sleep.
Yeah, talking about like hanging on for too long. The man tried to take a professional bout at 47 years of age, and the commission wouldn't sanction it because, you know, what Aaron said, a strong breeze may cause him to lose consciousness. He lost something the first time he got knocked out by Rashad Evans. And then what happened was he didn't change his fighting style.
Yep.
And that's hard for fighters that have made their living fighting a certain way, not seeing the signs and not having, as we talked about earlier, an objective corner, right? Or team that says, we have to change the way we approach these fights. So if he continues to do so, and he's relying on his movement and his game planning and distance management, well, Dom, you said it, you lose a half a step, and now you got somebody who cuts the distance. And even if we say like, hey, the combination that Ilya hit him with, that's not necessarily like textbook. He He missed on one. He just didn't stop. And then
Mhm.
he came over the top and it was lights the fuck out. So that's my concern, is that if he doesn't take an extended time off, reevaluate if he's going to continue fighting, how he's going to approach these things, and does it in the same manner and expects that his reaction time, movement, game planning is going to get him the same result, well, it will likely will. Let's say bottom half of the top 15, maybe top 5, I don't know, but you run the risk of more people that have father time on their side and putting your lights out, which you're now at a risk of having some erosion of your ability to take a shot.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
We see this in sports. I'm trying to think of other comparisons, right? If you are the Buffalo Bills today, if you're Josh Allen, and who is the coach there, McDermott?
Yes.
Patrick Mahomes he's taken something from you, right? If you are fucking Paul George and the Indiana Pacers, you're the best team except for the team LeBron was on. He took something from them. Kobe Bryant took something from the entire city of Sacramento basically 3 years in a row, and they still haven't recovered. And that shit was 25 years ago. Clayton Kershaw in the one of the best regular season careers of all time in the playoffs cannot fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
Something gets taken from him. It's not I just don't. But in the difference in football, basketball, baseball, hockey, I'm sure, Ryan, you could give me a bunch of hockey. Has Sidney Crosby ever won a cup?
Yes.
Okay. And I know Ovechkin has one, right?
Yes.
I'm sure there are hockey examples though. Like in fight sports, you suffer very serious brain damage. Combat sports rather. You know what I mean? Like it's not the same as losing a basketball game. It's just not.
No, you're dealing with long-term consequences.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, let's put a cap on that then. UFC 298 in the books. In the books. And now we have a job to do.
And now it's time for the Pretty Neat Podcast picks.
I've got a bold statement to make for you guys.
Bold
to kick
statement.
off. I believe that there is a 100% chance that the winner of the main event is Brandon.
Sure thing. You stay up all night coming up with that one, or what? I'm just
Took me
kidding.
about 4 nights.
No, I got to bed. I got to bed around 2.
Yeah. Fight Night Mexico is this Saturday, February 24th, 2024 at the Mexico City Arena. And Brandon Assassin Baby Moreno is taking on Brandon Royval, whose nickname I didn't... Raw Dog. Oh,
Raw
boy.
Dog.
I don't like it.
That is not on a nickname champion level. That's nickname prelims right there. That's BKFC nickname. What do you guys think about the rest of this card? And I think we'll continue with the same 6-pick process that we had last time, since there are a lot of fighters on here we may not be too familiar with. We tend to pick the main event and the featured prelim in our 6-pick, but we do make an exception if there are people on the main that we just have no fucking clue how to take, or if we just don't want to take it. This is a 6-fight main event, so we actually are just picking the main, most likely. But yeah, a lot of Mexican
at some point.
Yeah, a lot of Mexican fighters on this card. That's as to be expected. I wonder how they will fare.
I'm excited about a Brazilian man.
Oh yeah? Well,
Yeah.
I'm curious. And
Okay.
why don't we look right into it? First fight of the night, Eric Silva, not to be confused with Eric Silva, by the way. Is gonna fight. Because if you remember Eric Silva with a C, he fought Matt Brown. He got knocked out last couple of fights, kind of didn't, he fizzled out. This is Eric Silva with a K. And he is fighting in his second UFC fight at the ripe age of 36 against Muhammad Naimov. And is it Muhammad?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Muhammad's a big favorite here.
Huge favorite, rightfully so. Muhammad's gonna win this fight. How does it happen? If you want to jump this into this one or just move on.
I have no idea. I couldn't even say. I just feel like this is like a tomato can right now. And it's funny, the UFC website doesn't even have odds on it. But I see you're looking at another website that has Muhammad as a minus 600.
Yes, according to ESPN Fight Center. And I think that's rightfully so. I watched a number of Eric's fights. He's a little too old, he's a little too slow, and it's just not there. It's not there. I know he's 9-2 because he started his career a little bit later. Naimov is gonna run through him. I think it will be an early submission myself.
Did we get a number on that?
Let's take a look on Ye app, which will not be named, but you could probably figure out by looking at it. Let's bring up Muhammad.
You can tell by the way it is.
No takedowns on here. We've got 32.5 significant strikes, 10 minutes fight time, or a 93.5 fantasy score. I don't think we need to pick one of these yet.
Okay.
If we were
don't
to
want
be,
it.
I don't want it either. If we were to come back to this one, I would lean less on the fight time, but that's me. But we'll see if we decide to come back to it.
So this is the one I'm excited for.
Me too. I wonder if it's for the same reason.
I don't know.
Do you want to share why first? Do you want me to?
Go for it.
I'm excited because Dos Santos is the person they called up as a late replacement to face Manel Kopp,
Right.
and they went the distance
At 293.
at 293. And that is exciting. This guy is very talented and also a minus 310 favorite according to ESPN. So I'm excited to see what he can do.
Now, if I remember correctly, that show, we'd have to go back and listen, the 293 preview show that we did. Ryan and I, of course, watched this card partially at America's Crossroads and partially at the movie theater. A great night where we did hold hands.
Yeah.
What?
Just
Hetero
stating
life mates
facts.
forever.
No one can say we did or didn't. I'll say that because only the two of us know. The point is, I'm pretty sure we talked about him for some reason. We actually got right what we got wrong about Carlos Vera last week is that this was not going to be a walk in the park for Manel Kopp. I don't remember what it was about Dos Santos that made us not nervous, but like aware that it was going to be difficult for him. You guys remember what I'm talking about?
I think it was his takedown defense. If
Something.
it wasn't, it was that he was undefeated at the time. He was entering the UFC as well, if I recall correctly. So there was not too much tape.
He doesn't train at
Did you train with Oliveira?
Shoot box. He does. That's what it was.
He
That's
does.
what. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shoot the box.
Yes.
What is Charles Oliveira? Like, what is? I wanted to call him Carlos Oliveira. That's his brother. Anyway, he's coming out of a real gym. That's why we were nervous about him at that point in time. So I don't know a whole lot about this Altamirano guy, but he lost to Tim Elliott.
That's may not be a very good look. to be honest.
I'm
And
in on the Felipe dos Santos thing. I think
sure,
he's one to keep an eye on. And flyweight, man, you can rise so quickly in flyweight.
yeah. This
We've got
another
him
one.
just two rough numbers for him though.
Yeah, these the number options we have are 70.5 significant strikes and 87.5 of the fantasy score. I would lean over on the fantasy score myself if we were to make this choice, but it's another one that I don't necessarily want to pick.
Yeah, I don't want it either. But we like Felipe. I
Mm-hmm.
expect him to win. He's a minus basically 300 favorite here. So
Yeah. Any input on this one, Rai?
No. I echo your guys' sentiments, but I also don't want to pick it.
There you go. How about Rodriguez and Bondar flyweight fight? It looks like a coin flip on these guys.
I got
Yeah,
nothing for
don't
him.
know either of these fighters.
Fair
Bondar's
enough.
nickname is Psycho, and he kind of
Psycho.
looks like one. So
Do we want to take a look at their records? Well, Rodriguez he's 16-2 overall. We're looking at his last 6 fights. Last
Yeah,
5
this is
fights.
first fight in the UFC though. He has not fought in the UFC before.
You are absolutely right. These are all Lux Fight League. Okay. Got a KO, 2 decisions, and a submission, and another doctor stoppage, it looks like. And then Dennis Bondar from Ukraine. Coming off 2 losses. Looks like he lost to Carlos Hernandez in a UFC Fight Night Vittori versus who is that? Cannoneer.
I
Okay.
remember that card. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then also lost to Gordon on the Hermanson Strickland Fight Night. Another one, I don't know either of these guys. So I also do not want to pick. So we won't even look at his picks. Now this one I am interested in. Claudio Puelles versus Faraz Ziam or Ziam. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I'm curious what the numbers are here or who is even the favorite.
Faris Ziam is a minus 220. It's
Goodness.
interesting.
It's a fucking dart.
These are both a couple of good prospects coming up. Claudio Puelles, if I remember correctly, has a really good submission game.
He does.
And Fares Ziem, like I don't see anything really jumping out to me in terms of like
Claudio wins 54%
strikes
of
thrown.
the time by submission.
Yeah.
There
Okay.
you go. A lot of submissions. This feel like if Perez gets taken down, that it's pretty much over.
But what was the time? Was it 14.75?
That is a great question. It is
Yeah.
14.75. I like Smile Killer as a nickname. That's
Yeah,
pretty
that's a
good.
good one.
44.5 significant strikes and an 80.5 fantasy score. I think Puelles is gonna win this fight. Like for me, it would be under on this fantasy score. And that's probably the only one I'd be willing to pick, just because I'm pretty convinced Claudio will win this fight.
We can put it in the back pocket, I suppose.
Yeah. Let's have this one on deck for first alternate right now.
Sounds good to me.
Can we make it a second alternate just to be comfortable?
Okay.
It's plan C for the time being. All right. And then we get Charez and Lacerda. Also flyweight. Lots of flyweights on this card. Makes sense. Got a headlining flyweight. Any thoughts on these guys?
No.
No.
Is it debut for both? No. Charez fought on 290.
Oh, they fought each other. They fought each other last.
Oh, no shit. Oh, you're right. This is a no contest.
Looks like they're running it back.
What
folks.
happened? Maybe it was a illegal strike or a eye
A
poke or
dick
something.
kick or an eye poke, something of
Yeah,
that
a
nature.
dick poke, an eye kick.
Mhm.
One of those things happened.
Well,
Rematching.
one's illegal and one's not.
Good point. Good point. Uh, okay. Well, there we go. No pick. I'm okay. I'm all for getting entertained. Sometimes we make picks and then there's too much
Yeah.
pressure
It,
and
it's
stress.
it's it's interesting because prior to that draw slash no contest, Daniel Lacerda had lost 4 in a row,
Oh
3
shit.
knockout losses and 1 sub, either round 1, round 2.
Oh my gosh, I
Yeah,
remember
he's
this
a
one.
plus 300 underdog.
Okay, I remember this fight. Okay. This was a submission and the ref thought Charez went out because he went limp. He dropped his arm, he pulled him apart, and immediately Charles was like, I'm not out. I was not out at all. And they actually overturned it to a no contest. They ruled that it was not a submission. He didn't tap. The ref pulled him apart inappropriately. And they are running it back. And I think it is fucking stupid. I totally remember this fight. And no, this has Magomed Ankalaev, Idan Kudalaba vibes, where it like gets stopped inappropriately, and then Magomed comes out and fucking destroys him. It has Johnny Walker and Magomed written all over it. Is an inappropriate stoppage. Magomed finishes it off the second time. So this one I think is going to be Charez. Totally.
I agree.
He's just gonna wrap it up this time, put a bow on it, and fuck all of the people who didn't see it the first time. That actually
Say
might be why he's a
alternate number
negative.
3.
Absolutely. And let's take a look at what the options are on this one. Because he is a big favorite. As a result, we have less than 4.75 minutes. That runs over in my book. 17.5 significant strikes. I think that is also over.
I
Fantasy
agree.
score is the only one I would totally stay away from.
Yeah, I think it's the strikes over if that's our alternate number 3.
Okay. Yeah. Dom, did you hear that when you stepped away?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So that's a good alternate that we have. Then we have Jesus Aguilar and Mateus Mendonca
So
rocking the blue
Mendonca was
hair.
on one of the Bo Nickel Contender Series fights.
Was he?
Yes, right there.
Oh, yep, you're absolutely right. He won
We
TKO
watched
round
it
one.
together live, remember?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And then he lost to Javid Basharat and Nate Maness
Yeah.
in his 2 UFC first fights.
Haven't seen him in October.
Yeah, not too long.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good turnaround. I don't like those losses. I mean, Basharat and Maness are no joke. Jesus Aguilar he lost to Tatsuro Taira, just like most people would,
Mm-hmm.
via sub. And won his last fight on Volkanovski versus Rodriguez in 17
Yeah,
seconds. Shannon Ross. I remember that one too.
He is,
So,
however, Aguilar is a slight dog here.
interesting.
Yeah, plus 115.
So maybe if you're playing a fantasy app as opposed to just a picks app, he might be one of the dogs you put on there to save your
Doggy
Maybe
dog.
draft.
so. I was thinking today, it's cool in California. The average amount of dollars that the average California family spends, like, or maybe it's nationwide anyway. It's like $2,000 per year on lottery tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm allowed to do that for my 1 in 295 million chance of winning. But I'm not allowed to put $10 on this fight because that's not safe. Sure.
Nope,
Yeah, makes
not at
sense.
all. No sense.
I'm with you.
Um,
I
our
hate these
op
numbers for this fight, though.
You hate them?
Yeah,
I do.
Same.
It's like it's well placed. I don't feel confident in any of that. I don't want it.
Let's be honest, at least for me, until we get to the main card, I don't feel like I know enough about a lot of these prelim fighters to have a real opinion one way or the other.
Totally
Sure.
fair.
Well, let's get a little closer to the main
Tony
event then.
Barcelos.
Yes, and Christian Quinones.
My goodness, this guy has lost 4 of his last 5. How many has?
Yeah, not to terrible fighters. I
Yeah.
mean, Kyler Phillips, excellent
Umar.
fighter.
He's
Umar,
good.
Yeah,
Trevin Jones.
He was on 270.
Yes, you're absolutely right. He lost
Yeah.
to Victor Henry,
Uh-huh.
UD. He's an older fighter and just I mean 36. He's approaching the end. He's fighting somebody who's 27. Like this feels like Christian Quinones for sure. The takedowns though, that could be a thing. That could be a thing. He does go for submissions. Give me Quinones by knockout.
They were the featured prelim at 270. I don't remember a second of that fight.
Wow. Well, let's take a look here too. It looks like, do they even have options on this? Oh, did I spell his name wrong? Yes. So they've got all 4 options here. I wouldn't want this as a backup
No,
myself.
4 of the last 5 times it's gone to the cards for Barcelos.
Then over on Fight Time would be where I'm at with it.
Quinones.
If we had to pick one, yeah.
Yeah, if we did.
Respectively.
Though I don't think we're gonna have to with those other 2 backups. So
Quinones only 2, and his last 2 were ended in the first round. So
there you go. I do like Quinones in this though. So that is my pick for this fight. Great. Now we move in to the main event.
are we gonna get an all Mexico sweep here?
No.
Mm,
I think that Dos Santos is going to win, and that will be the second fight of the night. And Altamirano will start
Dos
the
Santos.
Mexicans. Yeah, Felipe Dos Santos, the one we talked about earlier, who fought Manel Cop. He is Brazilian.
No. I'm sorry. I'm talking about on the main card.
Oh, on the main card,
Yes.
I think that is very possible. I do think that Mexico could sweep this main card. I do. But I also don't want to count out Brian Ortega. I think that he will get,
That's the toughest one.
yeah, he'll get jabbed to death and kicked, and his best play is to try to catch a kick, rip him to the ground, and try and go for a submission of some kind, or lull Yair, trap him, get him to follow him down to the ground, and try and wrap up a triangle. He is T-City. Could happen, but I don't think Yair is foolish enough. I think if he knocked Brian down, he would tell him to get right back up, and he will force it to be a stand-up fight. But we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our first fight on the main card is Manuel Torres and Chris Duncan. 28 versus 30 years old. Manuel Torres is on a solid winning streak.
Shitty couple of picks for this one.
Yeah. And what do we got in terms of odds on this? Torres is the current favorite. Let's bring him up.
180, so not a heavy favorite.
And he's got 2 options: 5-minute fight time or 31.5 significant strikes. I'm gonna jump out there and I'm going over on fight time myself. That's what I am leaning towards. Reason being, I know we've got literally 5 first-round finishes in a row for Manuel Torres. But we've got 3 decisions, 2 back-to-back for Duncan. I think he's very tough. And the last time he was knocked out was in the never mind, Contender Series. He was knocked out in the first round. No, he won in the first round, but last time he was knocked out, which is what Torres would do to him, was in the second round. The first time he was on Contender Series. So for me, Fight Time makes the most sense on this one on the over.
Yeah, so I mean, I think either one's true. If it goes over 5 minutes, I think Manuel Torres goes over on the strikes as well. So I'm good either way. I do think it's over, right, on a time frame basis.
I would like to go with the over on the fight time as well, because as soon as the first round ends, we hit it, assuming that's how it goes, and they can't change that number later.
Yeah, so forget the significant strikes. We're beating the system this time with this pick. Manuel Torres over 5 minutes in this fight. It's going to see a second round. Who wants to take a shot at pronouncing this person's name?
Yasmin
It's-
Harawegi. Yarawegi.
I think it's
Yaragui?
Yasmin Yaragüe.
Yaragüe.
Okay,
Like
I can get the
Jaguar.
next one, no problem.
Jaguar.
Sam Hughes. I'm your boy. Let me know.
Hers is actually pronounced Hugs.
Sam Hugs.
I can't do anything right. Yeah, Yasmin coming off a loss, but before that, a nice win streak. Sam Hughes, she's got a mix and mash record. She's got the kitchen sink in there. But man, she's a decision machine, and Uruguay is not a decision machine. She only has 2 in her last 5 fights, and only her first fight in the UFC went to decision. After that, she's knocking people out in the first and second round. Let's take a look at what the options are here.
It's a real problem.
Yeah, massive favorite too for Uruguay.
Yeah, huge favorite. This is a very difficult card to predict, and I think even the odds makers are having trouble with it.
Sure.
75.5 significant strikes for Yasmin, or 87.5 on the fantasy score. Good Lord, I don't know. I do expect her to win.
Mm-hmm.
How many women's strawweight knockouts ever happen, though? Doesn't feel like a lot. Except that 70% of the time, Yasmin wins by knockouts. What the fuck doing it?
Yeah, but well, let's be honest. Like, she's a prospect. She's very young, 24. So like that sample size is relatively small. Sam Hughes is well trained. She trains out of Fortis MMA.
Yeah,
So
okay.
you know that she's going to have a good game plan there.
Yep.
So
Yep.
if the time is reasonable, I would. Oh, of course, there's no time on it.
No
Right.
time.
And that's why it's
Yep.
not there.
They know. But
Then
a knockout finish for Yasmin would put her pretty close to that score if it happened in any round. If it happened in the third round, she's got to accumulate some strikes to get there. Maybe a knockdown or 2.
Man, 75.5 is so many strikes, though.
that's a lot of strikes.
She does land 6.26 per minute, but the fight would basically have to go like 12 or 13.
It would have to
minutes.
go the full distance,
Yeah.
and Sam would have to engage at distance. Where wouldn't you assume, like, somebody who's well trained coming out of Fortis MMA, she's trying to go for at least one takedown, right, or
Yeah,
getting
it
one
would seem so.
takedown.
Mhm.
That she's going to try and close that space.
Yeah.
I would go under on strikes.
I support the under on strikes in this one. I also support more on fantasy score, but I honestly lean more on the less on strikes, like you're saying.
I'm with you.
Less on strikes,
Yeah.
See,
we're doing it. All right.
See.
And Yasmin's
What?
gonna win.
No, I like it.
when in Rome.
When in Rome, speak
Man.
Spanish.
Rome is, yeah, Italy's a cool city too.
Have you ever been to Italy?
No, not yet.
No.
It was
Ryan,
on the
have you?
cards, and
No.
then COVID happened, and it got postponed.
Gotcha. The good
Yeah.
doctor and has been multiple times. He really likes Italy.
It
It's
is
like,
very high on my list. I would like to tour the espresso bars of Milan and Rome, and I do believe wineries in Italy are quite the adventure. So
yeah, I want to go to Lake Como, which is
I'd
where
hold
they,
your hand there.
yeah, why not? We
Is
can
that
watch fights.
is that-
I'm pretty sure they filmed some of Ocean's 12 at Lake Como.
I was gonna ask if that's what the Beach Boys were singing about.
Maybe. Uh, then we move into the youngest fighter in the UFC, 19-year-old Raul Rosas Jr. fighting tough winner Tercio. What's his first name?
Ricky
Ricky
Turquoise.
Ricky.
Tercios. It is Spanish. But when he travels to France, it is
No.
Turquoise.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
It's
I'm
not
all,
turquoise because it's iOS.
yeah, oh yeah, fair. There you go.
How do they say it then?
Tercios.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Tercios. Um, let's look up what the picks are on here. I do think that Raul wins this fight. Uh, I'm just actually kind of, and I mean, he's a wrestler, so I mean that 30.5 significant strikes might seem a little low.
He lands 1.28 per minute.
Yeah, he's a
Oof.
total like grappler control. He's always on people's backs. And in that fight where he gassed out, remember there's like third three at that decision
Mm-hmm.
where he was constantly going for control, went for 16 takedowns, just couldn't get it, not throwing strikes. He landed two significant strikes in that fight. Two.
So
That's
the question
wild.
becomes, what is Ricky's actual ground defense? Like his takedown defense is 45.
He's a scrambler. He's very
Yep.
good at scrambling.
Yeah, he wants to get up and he wants to fist fight. For me, this is a fight time. I think this will go to decision myself. That's
I think so
that's
as well, just based on like how does Raul Rosas win? It's like
Certainly
control
Turquoise
and
is not going to knock him down, knock him out, or submit him.
no, he's not.
He doesn't submit
Turquoise.
anybody, and he only wins by knockout 25% of the time. And
Mhm.
his knockdown average is less than Raul Rosas. So I see how we're getting to that number, unless Raul just catches him, in which case you can still feel okay about the pick.
The over on fight
Wow.
time?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, unless Raul pulls something out and finds a submission, which he could. I mean, he gets on Ricky's
That's what I'm
back.
saying. If he catches him, if he grabs his heel and it's up high enough.
Yeah. And if Ricky can't get away, I mean, then you're on the fantasy score realm. The fantasy score option is 90.5. Fight time, by the way, is 12.5 minutes. Which would be halfway through the final round of the fight.
I
How are we
like the over
feeling?
on fight time.
We like the over on fight time, or do we call it audible with one of our alternates?
Ryan?
Ooh.
I feel more confident in this fight time than the other ones we had myself.
Okie dokie.
Doing it?
We're doing it.
We're doing it.
We're doing it.
That moves us into the third fight of the main event. This is a 6-fight main. And we've got Daniel Zellhuber and Francisco Prado at lightweight. Zellhuber is our favorite at a minus 275,
I
according
wish he
to
wasn't
this.
named Zellhuber.
I bet he does too. Uh, I don't know much about either of these guys, so this might be an audible I would like to call.
I don't know anything about either of these guys either.
So, thoughts? Because our options are 47.5 significant strikes, 11 minutes fight time, and a 91.5 fantasy score.
So Zellhuber lands 5.26 per minute, but Prado only absorbs 3.83. 39% of Zellhuber's strikes are significant, if I'm reading that stat right. So if anything, over on 47.5, but we could call an audible here.
I think we go to the Shires fight, right? The rebook from Noche.
Gotcha. We can do that.
And where do we go? Over on fight time?
I think we were
I think we're over on strikes.
over on strikes.
Okay.
Alrighty. We've got over on strikes, 17.5 significant strikes for Edgar Jerez.
A pretty neat audible.
Pretty neat. I like it. Now we move into the co-main event of the evening. The former interim featherweight champion Yair Rodriguez is fighting Brian T-City Ortega. Yair minus 150 versus the plus 125. Almost a coin flip. I'm all over Yair. Great reach. He's taller. He's younger. He's more active. I think that he could still make another run at featherweight. I'm kind of stuck there, but I haven't looked at our numbers here. What are your thoughts?
Do either of you know? Sorry, Ryan.
No, go ahead.
When the last time Brian Ortega submitted anyone was in the UFC?
Oh my gosh.
Was it more than 3 years ago?
Oh yeah.
Wow. That was a emphatic oh yeah. Wow, it's not even on his fight history. We have to
It's not
click
even the last
see
Follow
fight.
me
all.
to the year of our Lord 2017, where on December
Cub
9th he submitted
Swanson.
who?
Cub.
Swanson.
Before that,
Palm
Hanato
Springs finest
Moicano.
Cub Swanson.
Wow. Okay. Then he knocked out Frankie Edgar. I remember that uppercut. Doctor stop it to Max Holloway in the fourth.
Yep, I remember that.
Then he beat Korean Zombie. Did not age well.
Nope.
He was already on his way out. Destroyed.
Submitted Alexander Volkanovski twice and somehow still lost that fight.
Yeah. And then his last fight, he lost to Yair Rodriguez.
Well, that's where remember he
It popped his
had
shoulder
like that
out.
shoulder separation. It
Yep.
like dislocated. And I think Yair even said like, "Hey, get healthy. We'll run this back," and that's what they're doing.
Yes.
We have to keep in mind this is a 5-round fight. This is a 5-round co-main.
Oh,
Just,
wow.
just so we're all in the up and up.
Ooh.
And I think that favors Yair even more.
It does, I agree. But it also favors one of these numbers too.
Yeah.
Every single one of these. Is it favoring more on the fight time?
That's what I was thinking.
I'm super
Ryan,
inclined
is that
to
what you were
agree with
thinking
you.
too?
Yeah.
Then,
I love that
then
we all three thought that at the same time.
cool, beautiful. I mean, I could totally see the over 62.5 significant strikes, but if for whatever reason Ortega's on his ground game, I don't think El Pantera, Yair Rodriguez would let it stay there. I don't see.
He's got some tricky submissions as well. Not that
Mm-hmm.
Yair's game plan is going to be like, hey, let's throw up a triangle against T-City, although poetic, right?
Oh boy.
That's not going to happen.
T-City gets triangled, he needs to retire. That's it. All right. Easy peasy. We've got it. And that takes us to the main event. Brandon.
What's the end of easy peasy?
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Nope. That's not it.
What is it?
No, I'm not gonna say it.
Okay. Easy peasy, hearty poopy. I don't know.
Sure, yeah, okay.
Now I'm curious. Brandon Moreno, the assassin baby, taking on Raw Dog. And I don't like that combination of nicknames.
This is a weird one. Is Brandon Moreno good? We had this talk.
Yes, he
Yes.
is good.
He
Okay.
is. This is also a rematch. Is it not?
Mm,
Checking.
Yep. Brandon Moreno beat Brandon Royval on November 21st, 2020 at
Okay.
Figueiredo versus Perez in
The
the
first round
first
KO.
round in the last second. I don't think Brandon Moreno has slowed down much. So I'm not gonna say that Brandon has the speed. I don't think that's the case. They're pretty close in age, year apart. Moreno's got the reach. Look at that. They both land 3.8 significant strikes per minute.
mm.
But Royval is more accurate in those strikes.
Brandon Moreno is a pretty heavy favorite here.
Yeah, minus 300. Brandon's great on the ground as well.
Yeah.
Let's look at our options. We've got 67.5 significant strikes. I do like that number.
I don't
Uh,
know what to make of any of these numbers.
The first
We
one,
can't audible the main event, right?
no, we can't audible the main.
No.
And
no.
I actually think that the 18.5 significant strikes, or 18.5 fight time, is where I lean
You think
on
it's
the
low?
over.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's over. This is a 5-round fight. I do think they will get past the third round this time around. They've both evolved. They've both matured. They're going to fight smart. They're not going to go crazy on one another. I could also be talked into that over on significant strikes. But for me, it's those two. The other option we have is the 110.5 fantasy score for Brandon or 3 takedowns. They have plenty of time to get 3 takedowns in there. I'm also not opposed to that 3 takedowns.
The over.
Over.
So Hoival has a 40% takedown defense
Mm-hmm.
to a 45% takedown accuracy on Moreno's part. Per 15 minutes, Brandon Moreno averages 1.73. That 3 number is correct. I don't know how you come out a winner on that.
The only reason I
It's a five
My
round. It's a
models
5
don't
round.
like it.
This is a 5-round fight. Significant strikes. I'm looking at 5-round fights that Brandon Moreno's been in, and ones that have gone to decision. He's landing over 100 significant strikes
Mm-hmm.
every single time.
What are the odds on how this fight is going to end? Do you have that in front of you?
I don't. Let's take a look at best fight odds and pop open UFC Fight Night. February 24th is PFL versus Bellator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's at 9:30 in the morning because it's in Saudi Arabia. Champion versus champion pay-per-view.
That's going to be fun. Here we go. Let's take a look at the props on Moreno. And what were we looking for?
Fight goes to decision is plus, like a slight underdog to go to decision. But they think it's going to go over 4.5 rounds.
So that's that 3.5 round option we've got for fight time.
Because there's still the whole 5th round after that.
Would be the favorite.
Okay, I'm also good with fight time if that's where we're
I think I like the fight
linking.
time.
Okay.
But I also like the argument for significant strikes.
I do too, and I actually think that I don't know if this is just me being incorrect about Mexican sports culture. Boxing is a hell of a lot more popular in Mexico than jiu-jitsu. So I actually do think that Brandon will want to make this a boxing match. That he'll want to go out there and put on a show of fists for the crowd. I think that they will give him bigger cheers when he lands good combinations than they will if he takes him down. I don't know
Can
if
he
that would
get to 68
impact him.
significant strikes inside of 15 minutes? That to me is how we have to look at it if we're going to go with the over, because we should not take the less on significant strikes. That's silly.
No.
So can he get to 68 significant strikes in the first 15 minutes? Because as soon as the fourth round starts, we're losing this pick if we go.
We're winning this pick.
No, sorry. What am I trying to say?
Well, you're onto something. He would have to, in order to hit that 68 in 3 rounds, he'd have to throw 33 per round.
Because
That's a big
otherwise,
ask.
to me, the fight time is easier to win.
Then I think fight time, because
Because
that's the
if
first
he
one.
starches him, then we lose both of them either way.
Yeah.
But that's not really how Moreno does it.
Mm-mm.
So that's really not that's not a flyweight thing,
No.
right? It's a volume game. So can he get to 68 in less than 15? Because if he can, then I think we should take that. If he can't, then we should take the fight time. That's what I was trying to say.
Gotcha. Well, significant strikes per minute's 4, so he's gonna expected to get close to 20 per round, and he beats that fight score if this goes into the 5th. So it's still in the 4th,
Let's see.
or he beats that significant strike score.
3.8 times 15 is 57. So he's got to make up 23 strikes off of his average inside of those 15 minutes. That's almost 2 additional strikes a minute. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's a 25-minute fight.
I know.
Yeah.
But I'm saying
Yeah.
it's I don't know. Significant strikes just scares me. But that number seems to be a little bit low. I'll give you that.
Sure. When did he submit Figueiredo? What round was that?
4th?
4th? Hey, again, we hit that fight time.
Off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Or was it the 5th round? No, 3rd round.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You are correct. 2.5 minutes into the 3rd round. I still lean more. I'm with the more on fight time. I'm with it.
How
But
many significant strikes did he land against Kai Kara France? He landed 58. And that fight went almost 15 full minutes.
There you go.
So even if a similar thing happens, we end up losing both of those either way.
Yep.
Ryan, what do you think?
I'm still leaning on fight time, right? Everything we're talking about, it's volume, it's accumulation. I think Brandon's not going for the takedown, so there may be some exchanges there. Interesting thing for me to consider is Brandon Moreno fights in an orthodox stance and Brian Royval is a southpaw. So think about it. Their lead legs are going to be closer to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of like going for a single leg and a takedown, it actually favors Brandon. Not that I'm saying let's take the over on takedowns or consider that seriously, but when you talk about takedown to control, I typically look at less significant strikes and also an extended fight, right? In terms of like the stalemate and trying to get back to the feet, resetting, etc. So it's just something that I've been considering looking at their stats.
Okay.
I'm with you there.
Then I think we take the over on fight time before we talk ourselves out of it.
I like it.
All right. Then we've got our picks. We should recap them. I feel that would be a good idea. Who wants to kick us off on this one?
I shall lead.
Lead away.
Kicking off the main card, Manuel Torres fighting Chris Duncan from Scotland in Mexico City. Hey, okay. We're betting on the over for fight time, regardless of the fact that Mr. Torres has a large, significant strike amount landed per minute. We feel very confident. Hey, just get outside the first round, and then you can knock him out, and we should be good.
You can even lose.
Yeah. You know what we
Could
didn't
even lose.
consider, and I hate to throw this out this late with the extended fight times. They are fighting at altitude. Did everybody go there in time to get prepared for that altitude? Or are we going to see a lot of early gassing and weak chins as a result in the later rounds?
Good thought. I don't know. I did listen to an
question.
interview with one of the fighters in the featured bout, not the co-main, but the featured bout on the main card, who said they got to Mexico City 3 weeks early. So I wonder if people are taking a similar stance to acclimate to altitude.
Okay. I think so. I think Cain Velasquez taught everyone a lesson about not going there in time.
Yeah.
Because like I could see if Chris Duncan shows up 3 days before the fight, he could be gassed in 2.5 minutes and leave him open.
Absolutely.
But regardless, we made our pick. We're sticking to it.
Yep.
I'll take this one. Yasmin Uruguay is going to land less than 75.5 significant strikes against Sam Hughes, because Sam Hughes is going to do some grappling in here and stop that.
We hope.
Yeah.
Raul Rosas Jr. and Ricky Turcois. That thing is probably going the distance.
There we go. More than 12.5.5.
Not a lot of stopping power on those two guys.
There you go.
And this was our audible. So Edgar Chairez fighting Daniel Lacerda, which is a rebook from UFC Noche of last year because of a DQ, right?
No contest.
No contest. Sorry, not a DQ.
DQ of the ref.
Yeah, the ref erred, and unfortunately, Edgar was the short end of the stick on that one. But we think he comes out with a vengeance. And while this is probably a quick one, he's definitely going to be throwing some hands, and we feel very confident about him getting over 17.5 significant strikes.
Beauty. Yair El Pantera Rodriguez and Brian Ortega, also a rematch, will be fighting for more than 14.75 minutes in their 5-round co-main event.
The Assassin Baby and Raw Dog. We're going to see that thing for 19 plus minutes.
Over under 100%.
Terrible.
Brandon
mechanics.
wins this fight.
Brandon will win this fight.
Oh, beautiful. I love it.
And on that note,
we're going to make this pick.
I'm going to play it. I'm playing it right now. Just played it. And on that note, let's go Brandon 2024.
Hey, you know why I love MMA so much? It's pretty neat. That is 100% true, but it's also because it brings us together. You know what? Violence really does bring people